Good afternoon. My name is Maya Dillard-Smith. I'm a civil rights lawyer. I'm the former executive director of the ACLU for the state of Georgia, and I'm a recent candidate for United States Senate here in the great state of Georgia. We are assembled here today to discuss the 7 million individuals who are at risk of eviction nationwide here in America and the more than 400,000 Georgians who are at risk right now of eviction. The story of Linda Pritchett is an important story to be told about the impact that COVID-19, a broken justice system, and predatory lenders and investors collide to circumvent the due process rights of citizens of this great state. Linda has been in a property battle for the last 2 years to reclaim her home through an unjust foreclosure. She has gone through the proper legal channels. And just this weekend, after the CDC issued a halt to evictions nationwide, Linda was the tragic victim of having been ousted from her home by local police, acting on their own volition through a gross abuse of power and an incredible miscarriage of justice. We look forward to Linda being able to vindicate herself, but we want to highlight this story as being the story of tragically way too many Georgians impacted by the economic impact of COVID-19 and exacerbated by a disproportionate impact of the criminal justice system. There are so many people who are struggling with this issue right now, and Linda is a champion of the people. She's a current candidate for Georgia State Senate seat 39, which is being vacated by Nikema Williams, who's running for Congressman John Lewis' seat in the U.S. Congressional District 5. Linda is an example of what it means to exercise your property rights under Georgia state law. She's a legal professional, a mother, a wife, and a champion for the people of Fulton County, South Fulton, and the 39th Senate District of the great state of Georgia. And it's important that we highlight this story and stand in solidarity with Linda as she represents so many across this state and across this nation who are being confronted with what they are going to do about their housing stability in the middle of a pandemic, where just last week, as I said, the CDC extended eviction protection. And that eviction protection was extended to so many renters, but it left a loophole for those people who are confronting foreclosure and the ultimate outcome of eviction through those processes. We have to have a fix in the U.S. Congress, and we're calling on Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue, along with the Democratic congressional delegation here in Georgia, to create that fix at the national level. Linda's running for state senate to correct this issue at the state level, but we're calling on local leaders in the city of South Fulton, the mayor and city council, to condemn the chief of police with what looked like taking things into his own hand and a gross abuse of power. So I'll turn it over to Linda to speak as she can, given the limitations of the now criminal case that has been enacted upon her. We also need to highlight this story because this has the potential to become a national trend with this eviction crisis, where the police take it upon themselves to criminalize people for the economic impact of COVID. And so we have to be very careful about how we tread and the precedent that this case could set for untold hundreds of thousands of Georgians, and again, 7 million Americans who are at risk of housing instability right now due to evictions.
Good evening, and thank you for all the people that are gathered here today with me, my son, my neighbors, State Representative Sandra Scott, Horace Coppage, an HOA president and community leader, Dominique Huff with Home Rules News, my neighbors, my friends. Over the last few days, I've been trending. I've been the topic of a lot of controversy and conversation related to being put out of my house. I basically have been working for the last 2 years to preserve the rights of my home. I've done everything that the legal process affords me as a remedy to deal with the fact that I was foreclosed while I had a federal stay on my house. Typically, in those situations, the investor or persons that purchase a home that they do not receive proper title to, they normally void the foreclosure sale. But in my case, a predatory investor has tried on several occasions and been extremely litigious in trying to remove me from my home. On one occasion, there were 2 separate actions for dispossessory at the same time, simultaneously. I've been battling back and forth, up and down, going back to court, because this predatory investor has disregarded the fact that a proper wrongful foreclosure action has been filed with the Superior Court of Fulton County. That case takes precedent over any other action that comes after it. And so, through legal maneuvering, being deceitful to the court, this predatory owner now of the property that I have had for the last 14 years has deceived the court by purporting herself, hiding behind a corporation that she formed, hiding herself behind a company called Main Street Renewals that's supposedly a management company, lying to the court during a hearing saying that she was not the owner of the property. But when she showed up at my house on Friday with over 20 police officers to have me removed from my house, they took out a warrant that I've never seen, but she's named as the owner. So these type of predatory individuals try to bypass and maneuver through the legal system expecting to get instant results. I have been following a process. Even where I did not disagree with the ruling of the judge, I filed an appeal. I filed it proper. I filed it in February, and the COVID happened. And everything was stayed. Everything was shut down because there was an emergency judicial order. But since then, I find out that there were motions filed, writs issued during that COVID period. And I would believe that that was improper. Then after that time, they went through the eviction process, and we never got any notice. We didn't get anything tacked on our door from the sheriff. We got nothing in the mail. One morning, a Thursday morning, my son calls me to say that somebody was drilling through the locks that we were getting put out. And we did. No one should have to go through this. I'm in the legal profession, and I think that I have a good understanding of what I've been trying to do. I've had legal advisement, but no one should have to wake up, go to work, and then get a phone call that your stuff is on the street. And through my legal advisement, I have taken the steps to reclaim my property. And even in those steps, there were many lies told to law enforcement. Law enforcement was told that I never had an action, that I didn't have an appeal, that I didn't follow any of the protocols that would give me a legal relief. And they believed it. And ultimately, they arrested me. They fabricated charges, the people that told the police lies, and I spent over 24 hours in jail because I simply wanted to defend my home. Now, the only thing that I have are the possessions that I walked out of my home with, the clothes on my back. This outfit, I had to buy from Walmart. I had to buy new shoes. I had to buy deodorant. I had to buy all kinds of things because now my property, which is inside of the house, is being held hostage. I have a pet in the house, a live pet, a live animal. I've contacted the mayor. I've contacted animal control. My husband spoke to the police, and nobody cares about my pet. Today, a locksmith went to the house. My neighbors told me that they spoke with him. They sent him to check on my animal, and they said the animal's alive, and my neighbor asked, can I retrieve the animal for her? And they said no. They sent an email to my attorney saying that because my items are back in the house, that they will throw them out into the street. And that I have till Friday at noon to retrieve them. Because I was arrested, and as a condition of my bond, I cannot go back to my home. So the items that are actually going to be placed on the street and potentially broken, lost, stolen, I can't retrieve them. They said my son can't retrieve them. Now, they don't have the authority to designate who can and can't. I know I can't go, but my son, who also was a property owner, can't go. So I have to rely on friends, neighbors, and people who care about me and support me to help me retrieve my items, not knowing when possibly they'll wind up on the street. No one should be treated like this. There's also been things said that this is political. People don't understand why it's political. I have an idea, because I'm running to do things, good things, to help people, to make sure that I introduce laws to deal with the evictions, to deal with protocol and procedure, to make sure people don't overstep their authority. And I think that some people have a problem with that, because I'm not the type of person that can be bought or sold or really influenced by bullying. But I'm being bullied right now. And so I've come against the advisement of my attorney that's handling my criminal case. And the reason I did is because so many things are being said, so many lies are being told, and I wanted to make sure that I told the truth and allowed you to decide for yourself what makes sense, and allow you to look these things up, and allow you to look up the law. And even outside of the law, allow you to know that although people are portraying me as someone political, someone who's strong, someone who fights for people, for issues, I really want you to know that I'm a human being. It breaks my heart that I was arrested in front of my son. It breaks my heart that even my husband was targeted, that complaints have been made against him at his job. It breaks my heart that I am being treated like this, because I simply want to resolve the issues with my home. So I will turn it back to Maya Dillard-Smith, and she can talk to you a little bit more about what our next steps will be.
Sure. So we want to thank everybody for joining us today. There will be criminal proceedings given the charges that have been put forth against Linda, although we think they're fabricated and go the extra extreme. We want folks to actually follow this story. It's an important precedent-setting situation for so many across this state and across this nation who are experiencing right now evictions. There will be ongoing conversations with the powers that be around resolving this matter civilly, so that Linda and her family can retrieve their possessions in a civil manner that is not inhumane and takes into account that we are in a global pandemic that has incredible health consequences. And so we invite you to stay tuned to what's going on and to stay engaged around Linda's campaign. Although these attacks have been lobbed at her, she is very much a fighter and is very much in the race. And so we think it's important for people to stay tuned to learn about her platform, and also to understand the disposition of this case, which has a domino effect on so many who are facing eviction, both as renters and as primary residence owners. Thank you so much.